Right. Well, welcome everyone to February's Circulation SIG, Koha US. What is
Yes.
going on?
Nothing on this end, just getting ready for the upgrade, but that won't be until April, so.
Yeah, I just signed up for Bywater's doing a What's New webinar March
Yep,
17th. So just signed up for that.
I do too.
Very
I,
nice.
I wish they would show us more in those.
Yeah, the day after I have like a meeting with all of our libraries to show them the new stuff. So just in time.
Yeah, I do the same thing, but yeah, I wish they would show us more and not, I know I don't do all the behind the scenes stuff, so setting it up and so showing how they set it all up and all that. I lose my staff really quickly. They're like, "Oh, take notes, write something down, do something."
Yeah. Yeah, don't want to
So I
go
have
too
to,
far into that stuff.
yes, exactly. So I have to pick and choose what I show them just so they don't lose interest. But I wish they would show us more of what's coming. They usually only show us, five or six things that is coming.
My experience over the years has been that the Bywater staff will focus on the things that they think people will be
Mhm.
find interesting. But then something will come along where something that used to take one click will take two clicks.
I
And
know.
that's all anybody cares about. And it'll be
Yeah,
so minor that they don't even think about it. And then the first day of a new version, it'll be like, I used to be able to do this faster. Now
I
there's an
know.
extra
And
thing to click, and I hate it. And the
I do
world's coming
too.
to an end, and I can't
Yeah,
stand it. I want to quit and retire. And but
I
that's
know.
just me.
I get that a lot too. And it's like, I didn't know that was coming. I'm so sorry. And I have to, I feel like I have to apologize to the staff because I don't know that it's coming. And I wish those are the types of things. I wish they would ask us what we want to see. Put out, say, this is what's coming. What do you guys want to see? Or come to our circ meetings and show us what's happening in circ. Hey, and that's an idea. Go to the cataloging meeting, show them what's happening in cataloging, rather than doing one big one that, you know,
Where you can't cover everything.
exactly. You can't cover enough, and then everybody's surprised, and we don't know how to do something or fix something or
Feel like they do it
something
a
like
little
that.
bit in Aspen where they do cover a little bit more the range of what's coming out in Aspen meetings. And I think they actually go to like Aspen catalogers meeting and explain a little bit more.
Yeah,
When
but
did that invite come out for that the update meeting that you guys are signed up for? Or where
Good,
can I access that?
good question here. I have the link right here for
yeah,
to sign up.
Thank you.
Yeah, it came like a while ago, but I just signed up today.
yeah, I got mine a while ago too.
I would like to
Yeah,
ask you
we're
guys, how do you deal with when Koha's doing updates? Do you guys have a schedule that you kind of implement to be like, okay, here's the things that are coming. We're gonna do a webinar and then talk to staff. Like, do you guys have a system? Anybody have a system for managing these?
What do you mean
Like an
exactly?
internal
What?
system,
yeah,
like a
like
So
yeah, once we have an idea of what
Uh,
Bywater's, update schedule is, we try like a couple weeks
hmm
before it comes out. We do a big Zoom meeting with all of our like libraries. So whoever can attend can jump in and we kind of highlight what we think is that'll affect them the most and what they could use the most from it.
Yeah, we do the same.
And that is more or less what we do. We used to do more training because there was usually more time
Hmm
between the Bywater training and the time that we would get the patch, the upgrade. But that time has shortened, so I've started to do more. I've already got the release notes for 2511, and I've been trying to go through them and say these are the things that I think are important, and try to come up with a way to do it. Because what happens is, I have to know what's happening so that I can train the people that work at all of our 50 libraries on what to do. And so there's a lag. And that's one of the things that I don't like about Aspen actually, is that there's new stuff all the time. Every month it seems like there's new stuff, new stuff, new stuff. And before I can even figure out what the new stuff does and figure out how to use it, there's a month has gone by and there's already more new stuff. It's just difficult to stay on top of. That's what I find frustrating there.
Yeah, I kind of do the same thing with, I have taken to, I watch the webinar and then I do the release notes to Georgia, and then I do the webinar and then I kind of copy and paste. I go in and say, okay, at 2 minutes and 54 seconds, I need you to watch this, or at 2 minutes and, at 10 minutes and whatever. It's not easy. Like I said, they show you how to set everything up, and that's not something we do. So it takes a lot of time in those videos. So I just do some copy and pasting and say, I need you to go watch it at this, or there's a circ update. But I try and get as prepared as I can for it. And then I can at least look into it and try and then we have a meeting. We either have a meeting or I send out a blanket email.
Does anyone have 2511 on their test server? Yeah. Yeah.
No, not to the beginning of April, they told us.
Oh, okay.
I think test servers are early adopters, and the early adopters are on March 9th. Jason's been putting a whole bunch of stuff in the chat box, so there's a whole bunch of links in there to go to the upgrade hub for Bywater Solutions customers.
Yeah, a lot of good 2511 stuff in there.
Yeah.
Do we have any early adopters here?
You guys dealt with it.
Oh, I don't know if we are anymore. We were trying to be, but that was causing too many issues, so I'm not even sure. We're getting a point release tomorrow or the next day, 250507. So we'll see what that does. I'm not really sure what it's gonna affect. We're preparing for more tickets.
We're on 07. I haven't gotten anything yet today. The only thing that changed for us was I had a ticket open with Bywater about the status column on the item display. And they enabled a system preference for us, which then threw all of our columns out of whack for filtering. So we turned that off, and I've asked them, I want to sort, not filter, if that makes sense. So my ticket's still open, but I'm sorry, I talked over Tina. She had a question.
No, I was just saying thank you guys, because because I got all the notes, I went through them and like did a Word doc of these are the things we kind of want to look at. I was just seeing what everybody else was doing, and sounds like everybody's kind of doing the same thing. I just thought we might be behind, because it always feels like you're behind.
It does.
Something pops up. So good to know it's good company with that. So, okay.
So no major issues.
One thing I
from
do like.
07.
One thing I do like is the webinar is March 17th, and then that's before this meeting, our circ meeting in March. So it'll be something we can chat about. Look at that.
Yeah.
We have an agenda item.
Perfect. We should start using that.
We should.
We have been sticking to today's agenda pretty hard here, so it's good to have some agenda items for next time around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know. The agenda is there is no agenda.
That's an excellent agenda.
I've got an agenda. Oh, this is the February 26, 2025 agenda that I opened up off of the shared drive.
Oh, yeah,
Never
I think
mind.
we tried.
Yeah.
We tried to do an agenda, nobody added to it. So
I didn't even put it in the last email, the link. So
yeah.
but
I guess there is a link to an ongoing 2025 or 2026 agenda. Oh, that's for the consortium. That's for the consortium meeting. Never mind. That's for the meeting I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't have one. Ours has always just kind of been talking about it. And,
anybody that works at a consortium and wants to come to tomorrow's meeting, there's the agenda now in the chat box for that.
I work in a consortium, but I'm going to miss the meeting. So,
Yeah, the major circ issue we've been running into recently is with when you have like a hold when that pop-up box pops up to
hmm
confirm the hold or transfer something, there's like a delay. It takes a few seconds
Really?
for the box to pop up, and then it takes a few minutes, a few seconds once you hit confirm for it to clear out. So if you have like a ton of holds, people are getting frustrated. Has anyone else witnessed that? It might be a consortium thing.
No, we haven't. Ours are moving along pretty quickly, or as quickly as they can. We've got one computer that's just plain slow, but we're not experiencing anything.
Is there a bug report or bug number with that? Do you
Oh,
remember?
not that I know of. Like we're partnering with some other consortium to do like a whole development, but to fix some of this stuff. But that's quite a ways down the road. So trying to figure out what Bywater. Just an open ticket with Bywater right now.
We've had issues with holds. Once there's more than 700 holds on a single bib, things start to get kind of wonky. Like, in fact, we have some with over 1,000, and occasionally I'm not even so sure it's even obeying like local preference and certain other rules. Like it just starts to break down when there's so many holds.
Yeah, we've definitely seen like a bug with it following local holds priority also, even on smaller holds. Hoping this little bug fix, I mean, our little point release will do something. I'm going to do some testing once it comes out, but it hasn't always been happening. Like it's fairly recent, it seems like. So,
We've had some issues that just all of a sudden popped up that we never had problem before. One was with our cash register. We use an Envisionware cash register that talks to Koha, and it was working great and clearing all the fines whenever you would pay it. And then all of a sudden it stopped, and it was putting in some weird code. So Kyle had to go in and fix things for me, create a quick bug and all that, or a quick patch, and fixed it for me. But boy, all of a sudden it just happened. And I don't know what's going on. We also are seeing, for us, what we're seeing is in our public catalog, sometimes the patron are seeing something different than us. It'll show available on the patron side, but it shows checked out on our side, or in transit, or something. We're also seeing things that say available and checked out. So, and we
you
haven't
use
seen that in
Aspen?
a long time.
You use Aspen? We were having an issue with some
Yeah.
indexing stuff where it was like delayed.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, we've had some Aspen issues. We haven't been able to log into it, and we've had some issues, but I think it's getting resolved.
I think with both of those issues, I'm imagining that Envisionware uses SIP to connect to Koha for the cash
Yeah,
register thing. So
yeah.
I would imagine that that's a SIP issue, and then the Aspen not knowing if something's checked in or not keeping that up to date, that's also going to be that would be an API issue. So I think those are are the issues there is that maintaining the Koha APIs and the SIP is
Thank you. Okay.
difficult.
We've
Yeah.
seen it.
And
We've we've seen a bit of that. It's very sporadic, but like every now and then, specific items or bibs, the updates will get missed, and it seems to have happened more in the last year, since we moved to Koha. So the speculation is I don't know if it's on like is Aspen missing something or are the Koha API, Aspen is asking the Koha APIs what's new. As is it somehow missing a few things? Is there like a time offset maybe, like by a few seconds where it's missing, certain items in the update? I don't know if we have a ticket in on that, but like it's something that's been on the back burner because it's not widespread, but it does crop up a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, we've given staff access to when they log into Aspen with their staff accounts to the forestry index just so they can fix it themselves real quick when they need to. But obviously that shouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
Force reindex sounds like a good option. Good
Yeah.
backup.
We've had some internal computer issues, not Koha, not Aspen, just internal. Turns out we had some issues with firewall and all sorts of things. So some of our issues could be related to our internal issues. We've got a new tech guy who's on it, and for our city, he's a city tech guy. And apparently the previous tech guy didn't fix the problems like we thought he did. And so that could be because our Aspen wasn't talking to our systems, and our internal things were down and up and all sorts of crazy things at different times. It's possible that, but I'm glad to know other people are seeing it anyway. That means it's not necessarily internal, and we're not seeing it a lot. It's just happening, like you said, kind of sporadically, but has been happening just all of a sudden over the last month or two.
Funny how.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna comment that it's funny that it's bug squashing week and this is all coming out now.
Question in the chat. Does anybody do ILL? My library is migrating to Koha this summer, and I'm wondering your thoughts. Let's see.
We don't use the Koha ILL. We go through we have an internal form that we use, and then we go through OCLC.
We use the INN-Reach plugin, which is hit or miss. It seems to, work well enough right now, but we are moving away from it in a year or so.
We've looked into the ILL, but our ILL clerk hasn't seemed overly interested in it and likes the process that we're doing, and so we're just continuing with that.
My understanding, and I don't know the status of these developments, is that the Koha community is working on developing the Koha built-in ILL system to meet the standards for the NISO standard for ILL, and I forget what the standard is, and I don't know what the bug number in the community bug tracker is, but once that's there and in place and working, then it is likely that the Kansas library is using, oh, Jason put it in there, put the bug in the chat. It's likely that if this works and it looks like it's good, that the Kansas libraries will probably start using Koha to Koha ILL for ILLs within the state of Kansas.
But, we're a small library, and being part of a consortia, we don't do a lot of ILLs, but we do some. So for us, I don't know that because we don't do an awful lot of ILLs, because we get so many books from our consortia. I don't know. I'd have to look into it once it's once it's kind of updated and all that. I'd have to take another look at it.
Yeah, we have so many libraries using so many different systems, away from Koha, that we need something in the middle to talk to everything. I think the new one's moving towards API instead of instead of the plugin. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Just to add to my question, what we're looking at right now as far as like circ integration goes, we use WMS currently, and of course WMS is an OCLC product, so the circ integration works by creating temporary items in our catalog to circulate for our users. So libraries that use WorldShare ILL, their users don't have like an ILL account, right? They submit requests, but they can't track them outside of that. So when the request is received, a temporary item is created, and then the library can circulate that item using this temporary item. So right now we're looking into something for our Wiltshire ILL libraries. I'm part of the consortium, sorry. I don't know if I explained that or not, but we're trying to create something for these libraries to sort of circulate this material. And I know that the Koha ILL module, you can track in there. There's also the possibility of like, we have like an ILL item type to circulate that way. So I don't know what other, if anyone here is doing anything like that as far as tracking ILLs in circulation.
The way that our libraries handle ILL, there are actually 3 different ways they do it. My very small libraries, there is a statewide Kansas ILL service called SHAREit, called KickNet, that uses SHAREit, a product from Autographics. And my very smallest libraries, they will request something through SHAREit, and things will be requested from them, and they just track it all in a notebook because they only do like 3 or 4 ILLs a year. Some of the libraries have a stack of book wraps with barcode numbers on them, and it's like ILL1, ILL2, ILL3, ILL4. And when they get something from SHAREit, they put a book wrap on it and they check out. Essentially, they're checking out the book wrap with a book taped to it, and then they track them that way. And then our bigger libraries will get things in, and they will just create a temporary record in Koha. So having something, so 56, almost 56% of the libraries in Kansas now are using Koha. And so what we would like to do is to be able to connect the Kohas so that they can use the Koha to Koha ILL. So when one of our libraries wants something that's outside of the consortium, we could just have them go to ILL and search the other consortia, the other groups of Koha libraries, and then place requests through the ILL module. That's what our hope is. But right now, we're not doing anything automated for ILL. It's all an external system that's managed externally. And like I said, for most of our smaller libraries, our smallest libraries are handling like 3 or 4 a year. Our medium-sized libraries are maybe handling 1 or 2 a month, and then our bigger libraries, our 3 bigger libraries, are handling more like 15 to 20 a month. So we're not ILL super users here at all. So
No, we're not super ILL super users either. We have, I don't know, I think right now in our ILL behind the desk, I think we have 6, you know. So we don't do, it's not like huge. And we've been doing, because we've been doing ILLs for the last 22 years that I've been here, we just created an internal form. Our patrons fill that out. It goes to our ILL clerk. She opens it, requests it through OCLC. That's how we also track, is through OCLC. She's got a matrix on there that she can track. We create a temporary record, usually like a fast cataloging, kind of quick and dirty, as I call it. I used to call it quick and dirty cataloging. And then we check it out using the barcode that's associated with the item when it comes. And when we're done, when it's returned, she goes in and deletes it out of our record and, does her thing on OCLC where she sends it back and, that type of thing. It's worked really well for us for the last many years. I think it's just gotten better and easier as the years have gone. So for us, because we do so few, I think it, and it may eventually that we may be able to do a Koha to Koha because we don't get a lot of oddball requests. We just get, hey, you have this next one in the series in this DVD, and there may not be anybody but Kansas that has, so we would request it. We get that type of thing. So, so there may be some in the future. I'm going to have to talk to our ILL clerk and my director and the consortia and see, that's another thing is, are others in the consortia going to use it or not? So, that's kind of where we are.
I really like the idea of like sort of preloading these temporary items and just checking them out from there. Someone mentioned this earlier about like the extra clicks, that's kind of what I'm trying to solve for these libraries. Is it's so automatic right now, because the way the circ integration works for WMS is that the temporary item is created. It has like a brief record of like the title and the author. The barcode matches the ILL number, and the hold is placed on the patron's account automatically. So when you check in the hold, it just emails the patron. So it's a really great service right now. But yeah, this extra step of like creating the hold and then doing that, I might be, I guess, trying to manage expectations more than anything.
It sounds similar to what we got going on, where it'll automatically create the record, and then when it gets, sent back, once the patron has it, the record just deletes itself automatically. That fast add record seems to be working pretty well. We were having an issue where those automatic records for the ILLs weren't deleting at all, and so it was just creating a new record of the same item with the barcode with a -1 or -2 at the end, which was really weird. Had to do some cleanup, but recently we use INN-Reach, the plugin, but we are moving towards OpenRS, which is an open source version of some resource sharing software.
And so it's called INN-Reach.
Oh, sorry.
INN-Reach, yeah.
We're having that same issue. This is Mary in Bedford. Somebody stole my web camera, and I can't use my laptop because I don't have video. So anyway, I get no respect. So we're using SHAREit as well, and the problem that we're having is we were told that the item record would automatically delete, and it doesn't. And so now we're having people put holds on items that we don't have. And
Yeah,
they
we were
don't
seeing
seem to
that.
be able to fix the problem. Does anybody have that issue?
And then you manually have to do it. That's so time consuming.
Yeah. Fortunately, we don't have a lot. But it is happening. So
I think if there's a way to tell your system that when it automatically creates the item to give it a specific item type, like an ILL item type, then you can go into the system preferences in Koha. I think the system preference is called opaque hidden items. And you can tell Koha that items with that item type should be hidden from the opaque. And so that way your patrons wouldn't be able to place holds on those items. Your staff still could, but your patrons wouldn't see those items in the opaque, and then wouldn't be able to place requests on them. If they can't see them, they can't request them. So
try that. Thank you.
We have an ILL item type, so I will go in there and do that, and hopefully that will help. Thanks.
Thanks.
And it looks like Raina in the chat has some advice too.
I think I said the exact same thing that you just did. You can just set the item type to be suppressed and then block holds.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So we do that in the not for loan in the item type. Is that a different way? It sounds like then you guys are doing it.
Yeah, we created an ILL, and we just make it an ILL, and then it's suppressed and not holdable. If it does happen to show up, it shouldn't show up, but sometimes they do. But we don't. Once we place the hold on it, then because we've created the temporary record, we can place the hold, but patrons can't place a hold on it, and it's suppressed, so they can't see it. And that's been that way for a lot of years. We created that, gosh, I think probably right not long after we joined Koha, which was about 2012. So we probably did that in 2013, 14, somewhere in there, I want to say.
You joined in May 2012, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
I remember it
And we
well.
did. I do. Yes, we did our training in April and signed all the documents to join CIN at the same time, I think. Or well, Inland Share now.
Yeah, so are you using the not for loan status instead
No.
of like an item type restriction?
We're
Whoever-
using item type restriction.
Whoever.
Oh,
someone
Barbara,
else.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not
There
sure who.
are two ways in Koha to hide things from the OPAC. The first is the 942N in the bibliographic record. If you set that up so that it you can suppress the entire bibliographic record. That's one way to do it. So anything with the 942N, and it's usually tied to a authorized value. But if the 942N is not blank, then the item not just the item, but the bibliographic record won't display in the OPAC. And then you can tell Koha the system preferences. I'm pretty sure it's OPAC hidden items. And you can give it parameters. You can say it's one of those files, I think it's YAML, YAML, where you put you put a condition, you put a type or a group on the left-hand side of the colon, and on the right-hand side, you've got the different parameters. So like you can say if the item lost, colon, and brackets, and then missing, you can put all your missing statuses in there. So you can say if the item lost is status 1, 2, 3, or 6, those individual items won't display in the catalog. And you can set it up for item types, item lost, not for loan. Yeah, like what Barbara is showing in the chat box. Location codes, and it gives you there are a bunch of different ways you can set those up. So the way that works though is that, if you have like a Harry Potter book where you've got like 50 items, if you use the 942N, then that entire title and all the items attached to it won't display. But if you use OPAC hidden items, you can say just the items that meet the criteria won't display. So you can have a Harry Potter title that has, items that meet these criteria. The other items will display, just not the items that have that meet the conditions. And if all of the items end up meeting the conditions in OPAC hidden items, then the entire bib won't display at all. So two different ways to hide things in Koha in the OPAC.
George, what do you put on the 942? I guess that's maybe a cataloging question, but on the N, what do you put in that field to suppress it?
We have it it's usually tied to a authorized value. So when you go to a record, there'll be a drop down for the 942N that is usually just has one value. I can see if I can pull up a record here and show if we're set up for screen sharing, and we are. So if I go to the 942, if you should all be seeing a record for The Foreigner starring Jackie Chan. And if I go to the 9, there's this one field says suppress in OPAC, and there's just a drop down here. Not visible in Aspen Discovery, or I can leave it blank, and it's visible in Aspen Discovery.
Thanks. So you need to set that up as an authorized value then. Yeah.
And it needs to be set up in the bibliographic framework for whatever framework you're using. Which in our system it's connected to all of our bibliographic frameworks.
I also want to point out that if you use the advanced editor, it would also give you the drop down for the list for the 942.
Yeah, we use the item type, but yeah, like someone said, the staff can still place holds on those in Koha. But at least then it's easier to tell like who, who's doing it, who the offender
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, at least you know who to yell at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we place the hold, trigger the hold, and we're the only ones that really can do that. And then we don't even put them out with our regular holds. We put them out. We put them under the desk, but it does trigger for the patrons so they know they have it, but we also follow up with a phone call just because there's, unique due dates on them and, things like that. But yeah, we place the hold ourselves and then we trigger it. Usually our ILL clerk does it. She does from, step 1 to step 10 or however many steps, and then she's done. Rarely do any of us touch it unless she's like ready to walk out the door and she'll say, "Can you check these in, trigger the holds," type thing. But we have one person that she handles it all. When she's gone on vacation, I either back her up or one other person backs her up. And we're the only people that touch those holds or anything else, just because we don't want a lot of hands in it. Too many cooks in the kitchen, as you know, and we have found that a lot of times to be true. Anybody have anything else?
Go ahead.
Oh, mine might take a while. So do you want to go first?
Mine might take a while too. So
mine's about circ rules. Okay. Well, I have
Go Charlie.
Do it. I have a current Bywater ticket that I've submitted, and they haven't come back with an answer yet. I don't know if it's a bug or not, but I am trying to I'm trying to understand if my logic is wrong or maybe there's a bug. So this is where I am right now. So for my circ rules, I'm working on blocking patrons from placing holds on certain item types. So if you belong to a specific branch, for example, so say I have library A block, if I block that library from only the patrons for that library can only check out books, for example. I had to go and set up my circ control from a library the item is from, and then home or holding branch system preference to items holding branch is where I wanted to look at where it's going to be grabbing stuff. I've done these two steps and I set up my circulation rules, but it's still letting my item types be checked out and be placed on hold. And I'm not sure what step I'm missing at this point, because based off of the literature, the reference that I'm using on the knowledge base, that should be the only thing that I needed to update based off of my circulation rules. I was wondering if anybody is experiencing this or if maybe my logic is off.
So what was your circ control set to?
My circ control is set to library the item is from. And I know when I set it to that control, I have to select items holding branch if I wanted to be looking at the holding branch rather than the home branch.
So there's another system preference called reserves control branch. Have you set that?
Let me check.
Because circ control branch controls circulation rules and reserves control branch controls request rules.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Okay, so that one is set to home library. So
the requests are going to follow the rules for the requests based on the home library of the person placing the request.
So all I need to do is run a test for this one on my test server then.
So that could be your problem right there, is you're expecting circ control branch to follow. You're expecting the requesting rules to follow the circ control branch, but they actually follow the reserves control branch. I think that might be your problem.
Perfect. That is perfect.
That didn't take long at all.
Oh yeah, no, this is perfect. I was like, I knew I had to bring it here, so this is just great.
It's still probably not going to work, right?
Yeah, that was the other thing, because I like doing the test, checking out the items, like the not allowed items, to patrons from this branch is still going through, and even holds are still going through. So I have like 2 points of that I'm trying to like lock down, but it's not locking down.
Charlie,
So this,
is
I
this
think,
for the outreach van pickup?
outreach ran and another project that's going to be coming out soon.
Okay, I'm wondering if the patrons, their home branch, maybe San Miguel, and you're having them pick up materials at the outreach van, and so their home branch rules are different from the branch that they're picking up materials. That might also explain, because their home branch has different borrowing rules than their pickup location.
Right. So what I've done is basically set up like a whole new circulation rule for just the outreach van, and I wanted to follow the circulation rules for the outreach van versus like the overall rule. So yeah, I guess I can turn this one, the reserves control branch, to the hold branch, and I feel like that could help a lot. But is this affecting just reserves / holds, or is it also affecting like my checkouts? Because I don't want them to be able to check out on this not allowed item type from that specific location.
I think George was saying that the circ control. George, am I getting your summarizing properly? The circ control will then be responsible for allowing check-ins and checkouts, whereas the reserves control is responsible for the holds. So
that's the way I've always understood it. The way we have it set up is we have circ control set so that the circ rules follow the rules at the library where the staff member is checking things out at, and the reserves control branch is set for the library that owns the item. That way, the library that owns the item can set the rules for what happens to their items when requests are placed on them. But the actual checkout is based on the place where you're standing when the patron checks the item out.
Okay.
And I've worked in when I worked in Latah County, Idaho, that consortium, the ValNet consortium, is set so that the circ rules follow, circ control is set to follow the item's home libraries. So the rules are for the checkout are based on the library where the item came from when it was checked out. And in that situation, I didn't like that there, because that meant that a patron at the library in Moscow, Idaho, if they had an item from Latah County Library, those items would check out. A book from Latah County would check out for 21 days. A book from Lewiston would check out for 28 days. A book from Prairie River would check out for 30 days. A book from Asotin County Library would check out for 14 days. They would all be books, but they would all follow the rules at the library that own the item. And here we've got it set up so that when you're at the Leavenworth Library, they all follow the Leavenworth rules. Doesn't matter where they came from. I like that much better.
That's perfect. So I should be selecting circ control library you're logged in at. That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm done basically. I feel like this might be just resolved. I'm going to close the ticket now after the test.
Yeah, I would test it and make sure that it does what you want it to do before you complain about how I totally screwed everything up for you. So what I was going to talk about was there was this interesting thread on Mattermost that Jason was included in that thread, and he's not talking today. I think he's involved in Global Bug Squashing Week, or he's busy. But there was a thread in the developers channel in Mattermost where somebody was talking about this bug. And so this bug is related to this bug. The second bug came first. So what it is that second bug is the bug that makes it so that without any custom code for your library, you can click on circulation. And when you go to the holds queue, and I'm logged in at the Atchison Public Library right now, when this page loads, it automatically loads the holds queue for Atchison Public Library, the library that you're logged in at. So that's what the second bug in that of those two bugs does, is it makes it so that when people go to the holds queue, it just automatically loads the holds queue for the library you're logged in at. And this was a bug that was developed by the Koha-US Baby Devs group, and it's been in Koha for a couple of releases now. So that second bug, 41788, somebody reported to Bywater that at a really big library, when you go to that page and you've got like 500 holds at a really big library, then it takes forever for that page to load because it's automatically loading the whole page at once without any filtering. And so the question that came up in the development channel is, why do we have it automatically load? Why did we go ahead and push this first bug through? Because now it's doing an unintended side effect for really big libraries. And so the question, after some discussion in Mattermost, there was a call, they put the second bug into discussion. So what the second bug does, 41788, is it creates a system preference that says when you load the holds queue page, do you want it to automatically load the holds queue for the library you're logged in at? Or do you want it to wait and let you set the filtering options, the library, the item type, what's on there, the library, item type, collection code, and shelving location? Do you want it to run the holds queue automatically for your location, or do you want it to ask you to filter it first? And so what the developers are saying now, what the development question was, is why did we add this feature if it's now causing problems for these libraries? And so they're asking for discussion on that second bug, 41788. And so what Jason said in the channel is, this is a bug that we pushed through, the Koha baby devs pushed through, because we wanted to replace people. So Jason and other libraries have been using custom codes from jQuery over the past years to have it so that when you go to the holds queue, it automatically loads the holds queue for the library you're at. And so the idea was they would replace that custom code by adding to Koha, by building the feature into Koha so that when you go to the holds queue, it just automatically loads for the place that you're at. And so now other developers are saying, well, we don't want that. We have libraries that don't want that. So what do? Do we add a system preference, or do we roll back the first bug, the first patch? And so that's what they're discussing now. So after I saw what Jason said, my comment was, for years, people have been telling me that if you write jQuery, you should also add a bug to Koha saying, hey, I'm using jQuery to do this. Couldn't we make Koha do this automatically? And now some of those same people are saying, hey, why don't you just use jQuery to do that? So there's a discrepancy there. And that's one issue. And then my other comment that I made was, we're talking about changing this because it's affecting big libraries. But when you really look at the world of Koha, how many big libraries are using Koha that need to have it filtered before when you load that page, compared to how many libraries are libraries like mine where there's only 10 holds a day, And you don't need to do that filtering. You just want to go to that page and have it load the holds queue. So that's what I wanted to bring up here so that people know that they can go there. The bug has been changed to in discussion, so everybody should go out there and comment on it one way or the other. And I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank
For
you. That'll be a
frontline
good
staff,
discussion.
it makes sense to have it just straight load whatever library you're logged into, you know?
I like that idea.
Then you should go there to bug 41788 and say that, you know, we'd rather have it do it this way. What their comment is, what the developers are concerned about is that the first patch to get it to load that holds queue automatically when you go to the page was 3 lines of new code. And to create a system preference and have it make this determination based off a system preference is going to take 15 lines of code to create the system preference and to make it so that it follows the system preference. And they're saying, why are we writing a patch of 15 lines and adding a system preference where we used to not need it at all? So that's I think the crux of the discussion.
So yeah, either delete 3 lines of code or add 15 new lines.
Yeah,
potentially,
and make it so that everybody has to do 2 clicks, not just the libraries that are, you know, I don't know. It's a complicated issue. My solution was I have like 20 lines of jQuery that put the holds queue button on the front page, on the home page, and all you got to do is click it and it runs it for the library you're at. So it goes to a custom report, not the built-in holds queue. So
nice.
And if there are no holds, the button doesn't appear. So
even better.
I think we did a video about that a couple of years ago. So
You have a library that never gets holds?
Some of my smallest libraries are, it's not that they never get holds, they often don't get holds. Some of my smaller libraries are, you know, I think our library in Corning has about 4,500 items, and they're only open about 12 hours a week. They're in a town of 150 people. So, you know, some of my libraries are very, very small. One of my libraries in Richmond, Kansas, their director is an 18-hour-a-week employee because they're only open like 16, 17 hours a week. And they do get holds, but it's, you know, they're not, their annual budget for that library is about $25,000 a year. And 5,000 of that is a grant that they get from us. So, you know, we have some very small libraries here.
That's amazing, but also the fact that you can suppress it when there are no holds is pretty cool too. So
Because, you know, we were running into the issue with the long hold, like the holds queue taking forever to pull up. We didn't have a staff member at one of the prisons, and no one had been checking it. So now it has like 600 holds on it, and it takes like a minute or longer for it to pull anything up.
So this is, you know, at Atchison, when they open up Koha and they're on the home page, there'll be this holds queue currently has 4 items on it. Their missing in transit list has 26 items on it. But if like I pop over to, what's the day, Wednesday, I don't know if Corning is open today. You know, the Corning library has 7 items on there. Well, that's more than I thought they'd have.
Are you having to fix that code every time there's an update?
Not every time.
Nice.
Richmond, how are they doing? Yeah, Richmond right now holds queue is empty.
Because yeah, that's definitely a handy little widget up there.
There's well, and like I said, if we go back to a library that's open, like well, Atchison will have stuff on theirs for sure. And Leavenworth probably will have the most. Leavenworth or Baser. So they have 20 items on there. All they got to do is click on this and it's going to run a report rather than go to their
Wow.
built-in holds queue.
Cool.
Nice.
And this, I stopped sharing it all of a sudden. This is what I call the priority holds queue. So these items will say highest priority. And highest priority means that the request is for pickup at this library, or it's an item level request, or I guess highest priority is pick up at this library, or it's an item level request, and high priority means that it's the only copy in the system. And others are just multiple libraries could fill them. So Damsel in Distress by Carla Dunn could be filled by multiple libraries. Leap of Faith could only be filled by this library. And Mr. Monk's last case is either an item level request or it's a request that's meant to be filled at Leavenworth. So it was a fun report. And the reason I have
Very
that
cool.
report is because all of our biggest libraries our courier system has we have three different courier routes in a statewide courier system that affect our system. And on one of those courier routes, all of our biggest libraries are on the same courier route because they're all Kansas City adjacent. So the idea was to make sure that the libraries, when they go to pull those requests, know which ones they should make a priority because their libraries are the only ones that can fill them. So the issue becomes between Atchison, Leavenworth, Baser, Lansing, and Bonner Springs. Sometimes the courier does not physically have enough room in their vehicle to carry all of the items. So the goal was to try and make sure that they focus on the items that are for their own library or only they can fill, and the things that multiple libraries can fill go to the bottom of the list. So
That's some more jQuery
Hmm?
doing that. jQuery doing that.
It's the report doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the report is making those decisions. And I'm almost certain it's on the reports wiki.
That's pretty handy. Yeah, because like once a month I go in and look at the holds queue for everyone, and sometimes I have to tell libraries that they have the only copy. So try to move it if you can. That would be handy to build it into a report.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like we have just about a minute left. Anybody have anything within a quick minute?
It's like next meeting is March 25th.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll be discussing a lot of the 2511 stuff. So stay tuned.
Yes.
And
No.
I confirm with George, the one that you're using is holds to pull at a library with code 39 barcodes for your report.
It might be. I would have to look at the wiki.
Okay.
If you send me an email to remind me to do that, I can do it later. In about 3 minutes, I have to go pick up kids at school and take them home. So, including one of my own. So,
All right.
Cool. I'll send you an email.
All right. Yep. We'll see y'all next month.
Good stuff, guys.
Bye-bye.